thank you all so much for showing up. So, yes, let us begin with the sound of the bell. And when you hear the sound of the bell, just take it as an invitation to return to your breath, the breath that connects us to um, the flow of the life force energy of Mother Earth that flows through each of us and keeps that life force going in our own lives, connecting us in the web of life. So, just a few sounds of the bell to drop in to this beautiful time together.
Wow, beautiful. Well, it's a real honor to be with all of you today. And the intention for this next hour or hour and a half, if you happen to be thirsty for more, is to celebrate the years since Cynthia launched this beautiful offering to the world, her book, Summoned by the Earth. And we'll also love to hear from you how this book has resonated, what you've learned from it, any highlights, any, learnings. Um, and then we'll end by introducing two retreats. We're very blessed that Cynthia will be coming to Europe in May, going to Spain, Geneva, and France, here in Les Marions, where I'm calling from. You see the view from the place behind me at sunrise. Um, and so we'll tell you how you can join us, hopefully. And for those of you who feel 1 hour is too short, we will continue on for another half hour or so if you want to continue exchanging or if you have more questions about the retreats. But yeah, I was just going to introduce Cynthia, whom I consider one of my Gaia godmothers. I have two Gaia godmothers. She's one of them. And for those of you who don't know Cynthia yet, she one day was walking up the mountains in the Himalayas with the opportunity to ask a question to a 100-year-old Lama in a cave. And the question that came to her was, how can I bring healing and protection to the earth? And in response to this question, she didn't know she was opening a lifelong journey in asking that maybe, but he said, you can plant earth treasure vases filled with offerings and prayers in places that need healing and protection. And he sent her a batch. And then she's like, okay, where do I go from here? And today there are 65 vases in the world, seeded anywhere, from Los Alamos, where the first atomic bomb was exploded, to Hiroshima, to Alaska, Australia, Latin America, Greece, the UK, everywhere. Some vases are still being on the road, one of them for Spain, and Andrea will tell us more. Um, but Cynthia, it was a journey, a life journey, and then a journey, I imagine, writing that book. And so, what is your intention for us being together here today?
Mm. Well, my first intention is just to say thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here now. Thank you for your interest in reading the book, in getting involved in the global healing mandala called the Gaia Mandala community that has come together around this practice of bringing healing and protection to the earth. Um, Today is, well, I don't know what time zone you're in, but technically the equinox is tomorrow. But this is the 1 year anniversary of this book coming into the world on March 19th of last year. And oh my God, what a year it has been, truly. Equinox to equinox. And it was an intention that I had to bring the book out a year ago on the equinox, because I have such a strong prayer to see that we bring balance and harmony into our world. And so, my life is really dedicated to that. And it's my prayer, my deepest prayer. And sadly, it feels like this year we have kind of devolved, so to speak. We've come farther away from realizing that prayer than we may have hoped. But I want to make a prayer and an intention, because I think prayer is another word for intention, um, that the book and our work in the Gaia Mandala really may generate some small merit to help awaken the kind of caring and compassion that is so needed in these times.
Thank you, Cynthia. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful way. Did I cut you short?
Well, I have more to say, but go
Let's go.
ahead.
No, I mean, sorry, I didn't, that was not my intention. And actually, that's what I found so beautiful about your book, that it embraces the darkness, but showing ways to bring in the light. And I'll just like to start with a quote. You write in your book, the suffering we share with others opens the doorway to healing and liberation. Facing into the shadow of suffering, turning toward that which we might prefer to turn away from, we develop the capacity for healing. And I think that message is particularly present in this time. And I also would like to share another quote that is also an intention for all of us. It's actually where you open the book. You start by writing, most of us are unaware of the real questions that guide our lives and put us on the path. Human beings are so often hurled along by forces outside ourselves, round and round and round. It is only when we begin to inquire into our true purpose, or we finally hear the small, quiet voice within begging for attention, that we find ourselves on our true path. And I'd love to hear from you, Cynthia. The path came clear as you were walking it, probably. How was it for you to be on that path of writing the story? I imagine, did more answers come? The question about healing, did more questions come? How was this writing process as a continuation of this inner and outward journey you've been on?
Wow. Well, I didn't have a clue what I was getting myself into, as you said in the beginning. I found myself on that path, walking up to meet the old lama in the cave, realizing I had to find a good question that would be helpful not just to me but to others. And the question, as we know, that came was, what can we do to bring healing and protection to the earth? And that question still is the question. For me, there really is no other question. But I mean, there is the answer. What can we do? What can each of us do? What can each of us do? And so the summons is really, I mean, for me, as you may have discovered in reading the book, I feel like I was summoned, and I feel like the earth, really became my greatest teacher. I think the earth is all of our greatest teachers, the greatest teacher for all of us in these times. We are not, it's not helping us to look outside of ourselves anymore, because there's no one out there doing it for us. We have to, all of us, wake up to find that place within ourselves that is utterly and completely connected to the web of life. We are part of the earth herself. There's no separation. So I think these are the kinds of things that became more and more clear to me as I kept on that path once I had received the assignment. I had to write the book. I had to write the book because I had been so possessed and consumed with the assignment because of the fury of Mother Earth and because of the unraveling that I was seeing and that now we're seeing even more. So eventually I had to stop long enough to write the book, but it took 8 years to write the book. There was so much to integrate, so much to come to terms with in this enormous global healing assignment. And so in the course of having taken myself through the journeys and then through the journey of writing the book, what started to happen kind of organically is this whole global community called the Gaia Mandala arising out of not just me, but other people, many of whom are on this call, who have stepped forward to also steward Earth Treasure vases now, and who have heard the summons, who have heard the call of Gaia to respond. So I've been amazed, just so amazed and so moved by it. Makes me very emotional by what has happened, because I never set out, consciously to do this, but I have been so supported through all of you and through all of the unseen, beautiful wisdom beings, ancestors, elders, lineage masters who have supported us all on this path of collective awakening, as Thich Nhat Hanh would say. The next Buddha will be a Sangha, meaning that the community is going to be the vehicle, the vessel, the body through which we awaken. And I think we can all recognize that today.
Beautiful. What you're saying now makes me think of this quote: for me, forming this relationship with Earth, with Gaia, was like encountering an enlightened master, or perhaps the beloved. And I'd like to invite all of us, maybe you feel her presence now. If you're, be aware of the presence of the land you're standing on, and the fact that our being together in this call is one of the ways we are weaving that mandala. So let's take a moment to honor her presence. And a beautiful part of your book, Cynthia, is the journey into the encounters that you've made with Mama Margaret or Charles from Liberia, all these amazing people who are working in very concrete ways to heal their communities, to heal their land. How was it to remember what you lived together as you were writing?
Remember
The encounters. How was it for you to remember, as you were telling us the story of these encounters? Are there any insights you received about the value of those relationships, what they've meant to you? Maybe you were not aware as you were living them, but writing the book, there's another level of depth in the importance of those relationships that you were forging.
Totally. I mean, I feel as if every single person who has stepped forward to assist in this process, this project, this practice, each are like a living treasure, And of course, the treasure vases themselves, as we work with them, we come to realize that, yes, it's wonderful to have a little holy vessel, as Joanna Macy referred to them, to receive all of our deepest, most heartfelt prayers and intentions, and to plant that like a seed in the earth. But in fact, it teaches us that each of us is a holy vessel. Each of us has a gift to give in our lives to the earth and to each other and to our communities, to the places that we love. And so each of those people along the path, be it Mama Margaret or Christian Bethelson in Liberia, or Nema Nama Damu in Africa, or so many of you I'm seeing on this call today who have, since I wrote the book or while I was writing the book, have also stewarded treasure vases into the places that you love and care about, becoming holy vessels in the process. And I just, I learned so much along the way from everyone. And it sort of gets back to how the next Buddha will be a Sangha, because every single person who is invited to connect with their love, their caring, their vow, to be of benefit, to be of service, and to answer that call. You each become a bodhisattva. You become a hero or a heroine, hero or a shiro on the path. And the wisdom that each of us carries when we open our hearts to accessing what we love and care about is so profound and so unique, and it's like in the book I write about Indra's net, which is this jeweled net spoken about in Buddhist teachings, and each node of the net is a little jewel, and each jewel has many facets, and it reflects all the other jewels, and it's an illustration of this interconnected web of life, which we are all a part of. And those jewels are each of you, each of us, and all the trees and the animals and the rivers and the mountains.
Thank you. And maybe just to close our little exchange and open up to our friends, I'd like to share a quote. What struck me the most in your book is the courage in your generosity of sharing, your own wounds and your own healing process, showing us that being a hero or a shiro is not about being, oh, I'm strong in all circumstances and I can do everything. The hero that comes from facing one's own wound. And I'll just share a quote which I find really beautiful as an invitation for each of us to share how this book has nourished our own journey of transformation. Slowly, I began to realize that the vases were forcing me to stop looking out there and turn instead to what most needed healing in here. My core wound was mirroring the same brokenness in the world. Aware of the connection between the body of the earth and my own body, I attended to my own healing with the awareness that the earth and I dwell in a relationship of interbeing. And as I healed, I could only trust that I was contributing to the healing of the earth at the same time. So thank you for that generosity and invitation. And yeah, now we'd love to hear from you all. Any questions?
I told
Sure.
Charlotte that, my greatest sort of hope and wish in doing this call was to hear from as many of you as I can, because your feedback, your reflections, your comments, it just means everything to me. And you know, I've done a lot of interviews and podcasts this last year, and you know, it's been wonderful sharing the book. But it's hearing from those who have actually read it directly that um, it permeates permeates me so deeply. So thank you for coming forward, and please turn on your video so that we can see each other if you possibly can, because it's so wonderful to you know, recognize each other as facets of this whole. Thank you
Mm.
for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Hello,
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Oh, hello, Fatima. Thank you so
how
much.
are you?
Good, thank
Very
you.
well.
And yes, and as you share, I'll invite you to please be quite brief if you can, so that we can hear as many of you as possible. And do feel free to share also your in the chat. Tony,
There you
over
go.
to you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. This is an amazing gathering. Um, and why I'm here is because I just found you guys. Very, very long.
Tony, you
Uh,
need, yeah,
yeah,
the
we need you to put on the mic. Put your put them back on.
Is
yeah,
Yeah, that's better.
I'm sorry, guys.
that's fine. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
it's a joy. It's a joy to be here. I guess I've been searching for this intranet for many years. Make a very long story short, and I'll try to cut to the point. I'm a curandero. My grandma and great grandma were curanderos from the Azores. I was identified as a curandero, a cura, a healer, shortly after my 14th birthday. Excuse me, I currently live in Santa Fe. Been here since 2008. Been visiting a lot. I have family here. My wife has family here. In 1996, before leaving Beverly, Massachusetts, to come to visit Santa Fe, I heard through spirit, the divine, the infinite correlation, whatever we might want to call it, that when I was here, I would go to Madrid and meet a shaman from Roswell. And that happened. We did meet. Everything was kind of like orchestrated, is the best I could say. And we spent many hours together talking. And what we realized was that there was healing that we had to do with ley lines. And that the ley lines possibly between New Mexico and Massachusetts. So, and we left it at that. When I returned to Massachusetts and got home, there was an article in the local paper in Beverly, Massachusetts, about a Superfund cleanup. The bomb in my backyard. At metals hydride, and sending plutonium to Santa Fe and then off to Los Alamos,
Tony,
and to
may,
Alamogordo.
Tony, may I invite you to try to be quite short if you can? So
Okay,
I'm just
yes,
aware, and then
yeah.
to bring it back
So,
to the book if possible. Thank you.
so I was doing a lot of work in Beverly for all those years, and then coming here, and I just wanted to say that April 5th, down in Alamogordo at the Trinity site, is open to the public. So
Mm,
if anyone is desirous to go, I'll
wonderful.
see
Thank
you
you.
there.
Maybe you can put it, put the address in the chat. Feel free, Tony. Thank you. Thank you.
Tony,
Any other
for being here,
testimonials?
and thank you
Um,
for being here, Tony, and look forward to having you come into our meditations to share more over time. I'd really love to
Thank
hear
you,
about,
guys.
yeah,
Thank you
love to
so much.
hear people's response to the book, since that is the celebration, and whatever that brings up for you, you know, but please jump in. Please jump in.
don't be shy. You can even just read your favorite quote. Maybe your book is like mine, where I've got little, anchors everywhere, like folded pages.
So,
Waverly
yes.
and then Carl.
So I would like to say that what most impacted me on your book is that your book brought me a lot of hope, a feeling that everything I'm trying to do is connected with the earth, and that I'm not I'm together with a whole being, a lot of other beings trying to heal the the earth. So I really appreciate that feeling of hope, and I would like to thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Waverly. It's wonderful to know that that is your experience. Thank you so much.
Oh, and then Kirsten, Liza Jane, and Kat. Yeah, wonderful to hear from all of you. Please be brave.
Hello, everyone. Just Cynthia, thank you. I had no idea how much I needed this book as I was reading it. Like, it just confirmed so much about the necessity of weaving Dharma and indigenous knowing and animism and climate work and justice work. And you just expressed everything so beautifully. And I really think this is one of the most important books for our time. And I have a funny story. I think I told you this, Cynthia, but I was listening to the audiobook and just at the end of it and was just feeling this sense of wealth and like radiating out the wish for people to have access to this. And I was in a blizzard and the transmission on my car went out, like it was like this croon croon, and I was in, and there wasn't even a glitch or anything. I was like, oh, Cynthia's book is in the world. Like, who cares if my transmission goes out and I'm in a blizzard? Like, there's this jewel, and it was so touching to have you with me. And I hope this book spreads and continues to spread far and wide into the hearts and minds of many people.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you so much. Your reading and your sharing just means so much to me. I don't know what to say except thank you, you know, and I hope your car got fixed pretty quickly. Something had to give, right? Thank you for all you do too with your embodiment matters work. Very beautiful work that you do with your partner, Aaron. Thank you so much.
Kirsten, you also guide embodiment with your wonderful drumming. Anything you'd like to share, Kirsten? Oh, we can't hear you. You should unmute.
I thought I was unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go for it.
I'd love to hear you talk about also how it was to read your book for the audiobook. I have both a written copy and an audio copy, and it was such a blessing to have the audio in my Audible account, because I was in Sweden in June for a singing trip, and the day I was leaving, I suffered a very freak accident to my left cornea, where I won't go into how it happened, but basically I was kind of blinded, and I had to get on the plane, and I was in terrific pain, and I could hardly see. And I had fortunately just bought a set of these noise canceling things so I could listen to your book on the whole journey home. And I didn't know if I was going to be blind in that eye. I was in terrible pain, and just like what Charlotte was saying about the woundedness, just being in this deep wound in my body, and then reading about your own experiences. And when I got home, fortunately my cornea did heal. They do heal. But I couldn't read or do computer stuff for about a month. And so I just lay and listened to your book, and your work and the work that we're all doing moves me really deeply. Just hearing you speak today brings a lot of tears. I just feel such a deep, heartfelt connection to this work and the power of it. And last night you had invited us to listen to Rick's leading the February 8th sadhana, where you talked about your trip to Tibet and doing the practice together. So it really opened this space to really be even more present with this circle. And so I'm so grateful for these online ways to be together. And I'll be brief. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kirsten. It's so good to hear from you. And just to say that connection between healing ourselves and healing the earth is real. So it's real when we have the awareness and the intention that as I do my healing work, it is affecting the whole collective. If I'm just sort of blind to that, then it's not quite the same. But when we begin to realize our interconnection with all of life, then what you do affects me, and what I do affects you, whether we can actually see it or not. And reading the book as the audiobook was so much fun. It was such a perfect culmination, allowing me to do that final piece of integration, to having written it and edited it, and everything that goes into publishing a book, and then to have the joy of being able to read it out loud and to hear it coming out. I just am really, really grateful that I had the chance to do that. So thanks for bringing that up, and for reading and listening, and for being part of our Gaia Mandala community. Yeah, it's great to see you. Thank you.
And I have a horrible task here, which is to keep time and make sure that we can share all the information we need by the top of the hour. So Gary, I saw you raised your hand. I think we might not have time within this hour to come to you. Would you mind either writing in the chat, or we can continue the conversation after 8? And I had Liza, Jane, Kat, and Robin. If you can all be brief, because we'd love to hear how we can continue and deepen the conversation in person.
And for those who can, stay on
But
after the top of the
and for
hour,
those who
we
can't,
can
we
continue.
can.
Yeah,
Exactly. We
totally. I'll
hate to
be
cut
here.
you short. We're just aware of some people having to go on the hour, and children to feed and that kind of thing. Kat.
What about Liza Jane?
It was me.
Oh yeah, there was Liza Jane. Sorry, yeah, there's all of us, because anyway. Liza Jane, please,
Okay.
over to you.
Cynthia, I bow. I pre-ordered the book, identified my favorite chapter, which I will not read to you at this time, but I will assign it. Chapter 15 is my favorite, and it was hard to pick, but that one makes me weep every time I read it. I got the paperback book and then went to New Mexico, and Cynthia gave me a hardback book. So when I came back to Appalachia, I took my paperback copy to the elder, Auntie Amy Walker, who gave the blessing for the Earth Treasure Vase for the Southeast, and gave it to Amy on her 83rd birthday. She in turn gave me this hat that she beaded the hat band for. And I also have purchased a copy for our Sangha, which is in the Plum Village tradition, the Mountain Solid Water Reflecting Sangha. So it's in our library there. And my next purchase of your book will be for the library at the land called Wellbeing. So I'm spreading it through the Southeast, dear heart. You know, I love you.
Thank you so much, Liza. It's such a gift to have you in our community as well. And thanks for putting the book in all those libraries. We need our libraries to continue along with everything else. So they, sorry, I can't talk. They and the treasure vase that you planted in the southwestern region of the United States, southeastern region of the United States, continue to do its work for the benefit of all beings in that part of the world. Yeah.
Thank you.
Kat, a few words briefly.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Cynthia.
Thank you, Kat.
I just want to say that I was part of the mandala before the book came out for a number of years and was involved in some vases. So I was each experience, and as time goes on, it's like developing a body, a beautiful body of Gaia love. I don't even know how to explain it, but your book then just put a lot of flesh on that body for me. It just, you know, and along the way, I would hear a little snippet of this and a little snippet of that, you know. And so it was such a gift to receive the book and then fill in all these stories and just fill up with this incredible, beautiful journey that we were tapped into, but we didn't know a lot of these details. And of course, there's so much more to unfold and be revealed and all the time. But it was just like a wonderful, wonderful gift to receive, and just incredible gratitude. And I have shared it, also bought copies and, you know, told people buy that book. And it's just very nice to have that also to share when, you know, people have been put prayers into vases I've carried, and, you know, and then I can say, read the book. So deep bows. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thanks, Kat. Thank you so much for being here through thick and thin. And yeah, there's just, it's been such a huge journey, you know, and it continues. And now we are growing this Gaia Mandala community in so many ways. And I'm so excited to pass the leadership on to the next generation of people who are in the process of coming forward to steward not only the treasure vases, but also the community and our practices together. So you're a part of that. Thank you.
Wonderful. And Robin, you can share our circle of sharing.
Hi. Congratulations on 1 year of the book. I have my copy right here. I see this as a summoning and an activation of the grid that you created. It's so interesting. You're talking about like next generation. This is my partner's book that he just released called Terrestrial Architecture, also on grids, but is all working with geospatial mapping, AI. And when I hear what Roy is saying about the ley lines, and I just see this book itself. He saw your book online, and that's how he ordered it, and it came into our living room. And I opened it randomly at this moment to Planetary Acupuncture. And right now, like what I'm off to go do with this beautiful energy from today is work on, we do urban acupuncture of green spaces in Los Angeles, working with a Mexican American indigenous heritage architect who's been talking about urban acupuncture for her whole career. And so, like, with this, bringing the wisdom of Tibet and your journey and your story and this the grid that you've created, I see this book as like a summoning, and I've been summoned by this book, and like our whole community has been summoned by just the power of this work, with everything behind it, all the roots behind it, to lend it so much invigorating power for the next step. So thank you for bringing your story to life, and for bringing this book out into the world to activate what's next to come.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Robin. Wow, that's just music to my ears on every level. So I hope that we can continue to explore all of this together, because, you know, it's like we've got to not just meditate, for example, but we've got to not just envision what we want to see, but actually build it. Actually build it. So to know that you are working on that architecture and engaged in your community in the ways that you are, carrying these prayers into action, you know, that's what we're here for. Yeah. Thank you.
And Robin, it sounds like you inspired quite a few people. There are requests for you to share your partner's book in the chat and any information on urban acupuncture. So the web is alive and kicking. And beautiful testimonials also from Erin and Holly and Olivia in the chat. Thank you. Talking about being that collective Sangha. And the good news is that you'll have more chances to interact around the book. And Rick, would you like to say a few words about the next opportunity for this kind of rich, enlivening exchange, activating the mandala?
Yes. Thank you, Charlotte. Hi, everybody. I'm Rick. For those who don't know me, I'm living close to Plum Village in France. I've been working together with Cynthia and the community for 3 years now. And I just returned from a visit to Santa Fe, where Cynthia and I had a deep exchange around the book, actually. And from that exchange, we both realized, like, gosh, there is so much there that needs unpacking, and that's inviting spaciousness and just sitting and breathing with some of the things that are touching us most deeply. And we've been hearing some of that right here, right now, which is very, very meaningful to me as well, to just listen in and hear what stands out for you. So I'm inviting you for a half-day workshop around Summoned by the Earth on Saturday, April 26th at 9 in the morning Mountain Time, and I think it's 4 or 5 p.m. European time. Charlotte put a link in the chat, and it will be 4 hours of mindful being with the book and being with community and just seeing where we go with all that. And it just feels like a starter to really dive more deeply into all of that Cynthia has presented to us in those 8 years of writing the book and the 35 years of living the service with your treasure vases. There's a lot there. So Cynthia, let me take as well the opportunity to congratulate you with the 1-year anniversary. Thank you for being there. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for weaving me in. Very happy to walk alongside.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. And just to say, for those of you who don't know Rick, he and I work very closely together with other members at the core, the hub of the mandala, to turn all of these prayers into action. And Rick has stewarded a treasure vase over the last few years to Tibet, which is a whole story in and of itself. And also, he has now accepted the challenge of stewarding another treasure vase, this time to the Andes in Peru. And so Rick is a very key person in our mandala, and I'm so happy that you get to meet him today. Thanks, Rick. And please come to that workshop, because that will be super fun. And, you know, and stay again today after the call, but I think to talk more today, but I think you have some other things that you'd like to bring forward now, Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. You know, I think, well, Cynthia's coming to Europe. I have a sense many of you are on this other side of the Atlantic, but some of us are here and delighted. And Andrea can tell us a few words about the vase she's stewarding in Spain, which is one of the vases calling Cynthia's presence for support. And Jana will tell us a bit more about what's in store, where we're going. And then I'll tell you a bit about the France and Geneva stops. Over to you, Andrea.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see familiar faces and not familiar faces. Hello. Here I am. Here she is with us. This precious vase that I collected in Santa Fe last summer in solstice during the convergence. This vase is dedicated to regeneration. Regeneration as the operating system of life. Life is regenerative. And it's here to heal the story of separation, the story that we're not one with our mother and with ourselves, within ourselves, amongst ourselves. So it's a vase that is here to support reconnecting and reconciling. You know, we truly are one. And so I think that this is the big work of now, and this vase is dedicated to regeneration. And it's to be buried here on the Iberian Peninsula, somewhere in Spain. And this land has been a land, a thoroughfare, a crossroads of many people and many cultures since time immemorial. The Celts, the Iberians, the Phoenicians, the Greeks, the Moors, everybody was coming here and everybody was settling and living together and creating, you know, cities, evolving. And one fine day crossed the oceans to America and, you know, had some good ideas, not so good ideas, but mixed. El mestizaje. The mestizaje is truly Spanish, Hispanic, cultural, I think, identity. And I would love to heal all the pain that is associated with it, because it's when we all come together as one that we are one. With all the differences and all the colors and all the cultures and all the stories, but we are one. In pain, in love, in life, we are all children of our great mother. And so this vase is here. Cynthia is honoring us with her presence in Iberia, in Spain this summer, in May. And this vase has brought me the wonderful Diana via Rick in Plum Village. The vase already called her in even before I could imagine. And Diana and Xavi will be hosting a wonderful retreat at their place in Gerona, in Catalonia. And she's going to tell us now a little bit more about the retreat, their work, and their wonderful place. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Cynthia, Charlotte. And it's really great to see you all. Hopefully we'll get a chance to meet in person soon in May when Cynthia is here. We are really honored to host this retreat. And just to say a few words about the place where we live is really immersed in wilderness. And it's actually a retreat center that belongs to a Tibetan Buddhist monastic community since 30 years. And so since 30 years, this land is a land of prayer, a land of being in service, of being peace, being love, and being in service in this sacred action. Together with Chabi, we host retreats here in Vision Quest and Deep Ecology retreats, and we've seen so many people here coming here and finding deep healing, deep restoration, deep transformation, and also opening their heart to awaken to their aspiration and what can they do to offer back in this reciprocity and love relation with the earth. So this is a very special land, and I hope you'll get a chance to really come here and pray together, be with us together in ceremony. The main intention of the retreat will be to pray together and to invite us to go on solo, on medicine walks, and really drop into silence, drop into stillness, drop into deeply listening to the earth and what she's calling each of us right now in our lives, so that we can hear that original instructions that we come with, and that remember that song that is calling us of our unique light, unique medicine, unique beauty we can bring into the world. So we come here to listen deeply, go on the land, remember, and then come back together around the fire like our ancestors and share our stories, share the wisdom we received from the land, mirror each other, remember that, we are walking together in this sacred action path. And one of the questions we explore is how to be in service in a way that is joyful, that is peaceful, that is grounded, that is coming from a heart-centered place, in a meaningful way. So how to walk really a meaningful path of service, to the earth. And how this earth can be a more beautiful place thanks to our presence, thanks to our lives, thanks to our words, our thoughts, our actions, every movement that we do. How can we bring beauty to the earth? So that's a little bit the invitation of these 4 days. There will be Dharma talks with Cynthia, mindful walking, meditation, prayer, chanting, and solo time in nature so that we can listen deeply and pray together.
Beautiful.
So hopefully you can join us. We're going to put the link on the chat so you can find more information about the dates, the location, and we're hoping you can come and join us and pray
Beautiful.
together in Spain. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Diana. And just the dates quickly, like
Yes, 15th to 18th of May. And this is in
beautiful.
northern Spain, close to Barcelona. Yeah.
Lovely place.
So
Thank
looking forward to being with you, Diana and Andrea, and directing our collective prayers and intentions towards the land of Spain. Yeah, specifically. So can't wait to meet you in person. Thank you so much.
Mhm. And then Cynthia is going to fly to Geneva. In Geneva on the Thursday, 22nd of May, we're going to gather in a place called the SDG Solution Space, where a lot of people are working in climate action for the SDGs, for a little book launch in person, hopefully on the rooftop with a view over Lake Geneva. And then we'll drive over to my place here in southern Burgundy, and we're actually going to have 2 retreats, because we thought there were so many dimensions to take to this practice and so many ways of exploring Cynthia's teachings. We're going to hold the first retreat, which will be, if I'm just checking my calendar, but the next to last week, the 23rd to the 26th of May. And that one will be really centered on deepening our practice with the earth treasure vases. We will be in presence of hopefully 4 or 5 treasure vases that are on their journey to different places of the world, including Peru. I'm hoping Andrea will also be able to join. We'll see. We have a few other vases going to places that need a lot of healing, sensitive journeys. So really going deep in that practice. And then the following weekend, so from the 29th of May to the 1st of June, that will be a retreat which might be a little bit, let's say, open to people who are maybe new to the practice, who haven't yet engaged much in sacred activism. We're not far from Geneva or Paris or Lyon, where you have a lot of NGOs and people engaged and, which would say material activism, or trying to fix things at the material level. But many are really burning out, or it's very tiring. And so we're going to explore the role of sacred activism to take our action to the next level of impact, but also ways of healing ourselves as we work to heal others and the world. So it'll be different ways. I'll be delighted to offer yoga classes as well as part of the program, in addition to the Dharma talks with Cynthia. And I love, Diana, how you described what you're doing. For us, we're just opening. Tomorrow we have our first retreat, welcoming our first retreat, but everything Diana said, it's such a beautiful way of formulating what we're trying to do here also in Burgundy. And it's a land of pilgrimage. We're near Cluny. For centuries, people have been gathered here in prayer from all over the world. We're close to Thésée, a very vibrant community. So again, here the song lines of the earth are gathered, and the sacredness of the land is very strong. Our place is called Les Marions, reference to Mary or Mary Magdalene. So again, the sacred feminine, which echoes the presence of Gaia. And I would just like to say hello to Mathieu, who's going to be cooking amazing food for us in the first retreat. I'm delighted, Mathieu, that you're there. And his cooking is another good reason to come. So with that, welcome. And I'll also put in the chat the link to the retreat. And Cynthia, I think you'd like to share a few more news before we semi-close and continue our conversation.
Yeah, just, gosh, so much richness here. And these are the times that are really calling for us to come together. So these in-person opportunities are really, really precious. And I mean, I was thinking about this before the call, just the invitation to create our own groups in our own locations, to nurture these intentions, each in our own way. I hope the Gaia Mandala community can inspire all of you in doing that. But in addition to what we've already shared, for those of you who are new, we have our online community on Mighty Networks, which is a place to have more contact with each other in between practice sessions and retreats and things that we do. We have our full moon meditation every single month, and this is a global healing meditation that's been going on for 35 years, and it's coming out of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, but it is really gone so far beyond that. And I think everyone who participates benefits from it deeply, and so does the earth, because we invoke all the locations where we've gone with this practice, and we keep it alive. We keep those prayers alive, and we hear the stories of what's happening in those places as the treasure vases go into them. We have a mindfulness practice group every month, twice a month, that is a way of grounding ourselves into, staying present and cultivating that capacity to meet the moment. There's so much more. The Sublime Mother Gaia practice, I teach it at least once or twice a year. We have an ongoing practice group for that too. And I'll probably be doing that teaching for those of you who are new in the fall. So there's a place you can let us know you're interested, and we're going to post all these links. So if you're interested in stewarding a treasure vase, which is going to be another possibility sometime in the foreseeable future, you can stay connected and learn more by subscribing to our newsletter. And so the last thing to say just if this is meaningful to you, please support our work. Please help us to sustain what we're doing and become self-sustaining, by being a member and contributing to these amazing things that we're doing. So yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell. A little nut, a little seed to be planted, hopefully to grow strong roots and bear much fruit not just through me and through this book, but through each and every single one of you. And I see a hand raised by someone who is very special to me. This is my sister, Emily. Please, please come forward, my dear, before we close and then continue. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm Cynthia's sister, second eldest. Something happened when I was 13 to change my life. And of course, I didn't know that at the time. But little Cynthia was born, and I was rushing around with my junior high life, and I didn't let it sink in. But over time, of course, I have learned that she was a most special person. I agree with Gary, who said early on here that the book is a seminal work, and I wish to heaven I could buy 1,000 copies and give them to everybody, because I can't articulate. People ask me about her and what she does, and I'm not extroverted enough to be able to just talk, but I have so much respect and so much love for her, and I wish that our parents could see her now. They always knew she was special. She was the baby of the family, and we often think she was probably the best loved, but she gave my parents a renaissance because they were older by then. Anyway, that's all I want to say. It's just, I'm so glad Cynthia has these wonderful, wonderful friends, and I'm lucky too. Bye.
Thank you for being here, Emily. It's so nice to have you in the circle with us. And I'm just, very touched to hear you share what you did. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My friends, if you need to go, this would be a moment, but we will stay on. And this is the Mama Vessel. I call her the Mama Vessel. She has a necklace on today that was given to me by one of the 13 indigenous grandmothers by the name of Rita Blumenstein, Yupik elder, who I write about in the book, actually. She gave us some white eagle tail feathers from her medicine fan to place into the treasure vase for Papua New Guinea, for the oceans, for the South Pacific, because her people have a prophecy about the times of great change and the oceans rising from the South Pacific. And then when she heard we were also going to Arctic Alaska, into her ancestral lands, she gave us another feather for that treasure vase. And she said, here, this is needed. It's great medicine. There's been so many elders who have blessed this practice from so many cultures around the world. And I just give all my thanks to each of them, whether they are still alive or have passed on, and to each and every one of you for your prayers and intentions today and every full moon and ongoing. This is how one little way we can keep ourselves connected and inspired and feeling strong when things get hard. So please take a moment right now. I'm going to ring the bell to send your prayers and blessings into this. I'll take the cork out, into this holy vessel for the benefit of all. And thank you again for being here. Thank you again. And it will be so interesting to see where this particular treasure vase is planted. It's holding space for many that are still in process and many still that are yet to come. But it has a big job to do, and I'm curious where it will go. So yeah, once again, if you need to go, please do. If you'd like to stay a little longer, we'll continue this conversation. And if there's questions or more reflections on the book, please share. Please share. And if you have, interest in any of the things we've offered, we really, really hope to see you at some of these events to come.
The floor is open and all the links are in the chat and we can share them in the email. Bye, Robin. Bye, Carl. Bye. Oh, thank you, Matthew. Wish you all a beautiful day. Bye, Klindi.
I know Gary had wanted to speak earlier, and
Yes,
so we have to be
Gary.
sure to invite Gary to come forward. And I saw your hand was raised, Andrea. So,
Nope,
yeah.
it's Gary.
Thanks, Cynthia. And thank you, Charlotte, too, and everybody. It's wow. Well, I've only read the book once, and while I was reading it the first time, I could only read it a few pages at a time because it was a lot. I was looking forward to, before I even finished it, I was looking forward to starting it again and reading it. And I've bought a lot of books, and one of the things that I really enjoy is the connection I have with people who I've given the book to. I'm finding that the Gaia Mandala is much more than just the connection of all the vases. It's the connection of the people who have had connection with the vases or the connection of the book. And it's quite, my life has changed as a result of that, because I'm meeting people who are doing amazing things and who they are and the work they do. And I'm at times overwhelmed with it, and at times very excited about it. And I have a trip planned that I'm going to go to the south of the United States, and I'm going to go to the Peace and Justice Memorial, which is known as the Lynching Memorial, and to Memphis, Tennessee, where Martin Luther King was assassinated. And for years, I've been wanting to go to the South, and I discovered the memorial before I discovered the book. So even applying for a vase, which I have done, is opening up my life. And I don't know that I will get a vase. I mean, I don't know. And in a way, it would be great. And in a way, it's okay if I don't, because as Cynthia has said a number of times, it's like I am the vessel, and we all are that vessel. And that's what's really, really exciting, is seeing that and discovering that in others. So thank you. Thank you.
So great to have you with us, Gary. Keep up
Yeah.
the good work. Hope to meet you in person sometime soon.
Oh, wow. Well, that's my intention. That's my intention. And even to, you put in an email the possibility of making vases. It's like, wow, that would be something. I mean, there's one thing to steward a vase, but just to steward a whole bunch of them. So
Well,
Let me
there's
know
someone,
when.
well, there's someone here on the call who is interested in that as well. Her name is Anne Thomas, and she's in Wales. And I can't see you, Anne, because your screen is very dark, but I noticed you were here. And I'd love to say hello to you if you can illuminate yourself. I know you're coming to the retreat, one of the retreats in France, and it's wonderful to have you here today. And Anne is a artist who makes mandalas as well. She has been crafting little clay pots herself, not knowing that this is a practice that comes from ancient Tibet. Can you tip your screen down slightly so we can see you?
Can you see me?
Anne. Nice
Hi.
to meet you.
Sorry, I had a piece of tape over my camera. I forgot to take it off.
So good to
Lovely
meet
to-
you.
Yeah, you too. Really lovely to be here. It's just so lovely to hear everything that everyone's saying and get a sense of this work, really bringing it alive. You know, listening to everybody's stories and yeah, I've only actually made one little vase so far, and I'm feeling a little bit like if it was a strong calling to make it. So I made it from the clay on the beach where I live. I live in West Wales in the UK. And the clay there used to be a forest. So it's 10,000 years old clay. And it feels really special to be holding, to be, you know, like firing and creating this little vessel. And it was something that came to me to do before I heard about your work. And then when I listened to the podcast with you talking to Manda, and yeah, you know the story. I've already told you all this. But for the benefit of others, I really connected with the well, just the humility of this as an action. You know, that sense of, you know, you being creating something which is an offering, which is a vessel, but which is also a way of helping not only us become vessels, but a community around it. That's what I'm hearing and feeling from reading your book and listening to the stories. And it fills me with some sense of trepidation, because I feel that when we make a commitment to be a vessel like that, you know, which I imagine we are all doing already, you know, I don't know why I feel some trepidation. I feel like it feels like stepping into a roller coaster of something that really needs to happen. And yeah, so I feel excited about that as like the next step in my path. But also a little bit kind of like, oh my God, really?
I think you're not alone. So many of us who have stepped into this practice. I'm thinking right now of Rick, who I've just been with, as he mentioned. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? You know, Marita, who's here with us still, stewarded a treasure vase that she made with us at a place called Ghost Ranch here in New Mexico some few years ago, with a Native American potter who taught us how to make our own little clay pots in that traditional way, but they were part of this mandala. And Marita's first treasure vase was dedicated to the place where COVID began in the US, to bring healing there and to that situation. She called it Corona Ma. Sorry for telling your story for you, Marita, but then she got this incredibly powerful calling to take a treasure vase to Auschwitz.
Yeah.
And that was not an easy thing to do. And you did it, Marita. You did it. And that treasure vase was and is still connected to another one that was dedicated last year to Palestine. And the young woman who's stewarding that was on this call earlier. I think she's gone now, but Aoife is from Ireland. And she and her mother, Sarah, are very, very dedicated to bringing healing to Gaza and to Palestine, and are stewarding that treasure vase. So, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. This was my experience all the way along. You know, how am I going to get there? How's this going to happen? I don't know what to do. But then, you know, just one foot in front of the other, and the prayers are answered. So I think part of the book's message is that we can all do this. We can all do whatever it is that we're called to do, because it's ours to do. And the universe, the Gaia, you know, the Gaia, and all those holy beings, and all of our friends and our family and our community, you know, we're in this together. Anyway, I'm getting carried away once again, but it's wonderful to meet you, Anne, and I'm so looking forward to seeing you in person at Charlotte's retreat in the end of May.
Me too.
Yeah. Is there
Thank you. I'll
anyone
meet-
else? Yeah. Charlotte, thank you so much for bringing us together.
Wanted to say hi really quickly. This is Erin. And Cynthia and I just spoke exactly a month ago today. I interviewed her for her book. And so as I'm in production for that, I just really wanted, the best part of discovering your book is discovering the community and coming to some of the full moon meditations. And I just wanted to come here today because I feel like in representing your book, it's really representing everyone who has such a deep heart connection to the vases and your words. And I have become one of them, you know, listening to Audible. So just wanted to say hi to everyone and thank you for doing this today, and say hi to you directly.
Thank you, Erin. It's wonderful to see you, and so glad to know that you're dipping in your toes a little bit further than just that initial conversation. So welcome to the Gaia Mandala.
Thank you.
Yeah. To be continued.
Yes.
Thank you all. And thank you again, Cynthia, for taking us all on this magical journey. Really, really opening up the road for each of us to be a holy vessel is such a gift to the world. And yeah. Wow. Thank you all for your presence. I think we can feel even more than what was put in words in this 1 hour and 20 minutes together. And yeah, I think we can feel the healing that is being brought into the world at a time when it needs a lot. But it's coming. It's there. Gaia's holding us. Thank you. And we hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Cynthia?
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No,
I
that's
just
fine. I
wanted
was
to
done.
say, for all of those who may be listening to this recording, you know, thank you so much for being here as well. And yeah, I hope to see all of you again in one way or another. There's so many ways that we can connect. So yeah, as we say, to be continued. Here's the little vase one more time.
And here's the big book. No, it doesn't work. Yeah, here's the big book one more time. Yes. Thank you. Summoned by Cynthia.
You are summoned.
Our Gaia godmother. See you all very soon in person, hopefully, and online anytime. Bye, bye, bye.
May all this goodness ripple out and go exactly where it needs to go on this equinox time. Yeah. balance, harmony, peace, awakening, healing.
Om Gaya Mandala Siddhi Pada Brahma. Om Gaya Mandala Siddhi Pada Brahma. God bless. Bye.
Bye bye.